What is up, sister friends? So, welcome to another episode of Heart to Heart with Coach Emily. I am super excited for today's episode. So, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. You're remembering that you are beautiful, you're amazing, you're smart, you are loved, you are free. You don't need to be like them. You just need to be like you. Okay. So starting today off with some really positive energy, because we're going to dive deep today into transitions, because so many of us are constantly going through transitions in life, whether that's a career change, clientele change, changing up your social media, you're moving, you're working a part-time job while owning your business. Maybe you're in a breakup, whatever the case may be. Transitions are constant in our lives. And I think as entrepreneurs, transitions are we kind of like crave them, I feel like, or they're always happening, transitions. But the thing about transitions that I think a lot of us struggle with is that we don't give ourselves enough grace during those transitions. So I have a saying, grace and discipline are besties. Grace says, I'm a person, I fall down, I make mistakes. Discipline says, I get up and I try again tomorrow. Now, for transitions, just to give you some perspective on transitions and why I may be considered an expert on them, a self-proclaimed expert. I have moved in my life 18 times. I just had my 18th move, moving into the place we live in now. And those are always a bitch. I've been divorced. I've moved across country twice. Before I became a personal trainer, I have had probably over 15 to 20 different jobs in my life. So constant change in my life. Now there is some underlying issues there, conditioning, like this belief that stress is something that I need in my life. And I'm learning to get rid of that. And we'll talk about that as well, probably on another episode. But I really want to talk about how we don't give ourselves enough time during transitions. So how I really learned this was through my biggest move when I was 19. It was my first move by myself. All the other moves before that were with my family. And during that transition, moving to a whole new place, not knowing anyone but my boyfriend at the time, trying to find a job, I didn't have a car, all of these things, it weighed on me so heavily, so heavily. I had all of these thoughts of I should, I could, I must, right? These thoughts of shame, of I should be better. I should have my feet planted. I should be getting my shit together. I should be working out. I should, all of these things. And over time, with all of the moves, I started to pick up on a trend. And that trend was really understanding that you are not less than in your transition if you don't immediately hit the nail on the head as soon as the transition occurs. You are not less than if you don't work out for a few weeks after your transition, if you don't eat perfectly. You are not less worthy. Through the transitions, what I think makes it harder for all of us is that we believe that there is some sort of expectation that we need to fulfill here. And expectations are my biggest shadow. And maybe a lot of you can resonate with this. I really struggle with expectations. I set a lot of expectations on myself, a lot of expectation on others. I believe others expect a lot from me. Maybe it's being a Virgo. Not going to blame it on that. I just think it's part of my conditioning and just who I am. And so as I started to learn that there was a lot of these expectations that I was placing on myself during these transitions, I was starting to realize why it was so hard, why I felt sad, why I would wake up crying, why I would wake up and feel like I couldn't move, because I had put so much pressure on myself to be something during these transitions. The thing is, though, nobody gives a shit. When you tell somebody, oh, I just moved, they're like, oh my gosh, take your time, give yourself space. Everybody's super understanding. Nobody's like, so you're not running 3 days a week now? So you're not freaking starting a brand new project, no one's like, what's wrong with you? Like, why aren't you working harder? You put that on yourself. You are the one telling yourself that, hey, you should be doing more. You should be more. You should be better. And then you're upset with yourself because you're not giving yourself the time to decompress and assess and get back into your rhythms in your new place, whether that's moving, relationships, careers, X, Y, and Z. As women, I really noticed that we love to do that to ourselves. We love to say, be this, because that's what the world is expecting you. And but if you ask people who are close to you, they're not expecting that of you. If you say, this is too much and I can't do it, the people who love you are going to be like, yeah, take a break, give yourself a rest. You are the one saying, no, bitch, do more. You suck, be better. And you're holding yourself back from an opportunity to adjust to the new environment. Think about a plant. Okay. My gardening girls, my plant ladies out there. When you are repotting a plant, okay, it's going from its current soil to its new soil. You have to treat it delicately. You have to make sure it doesn't get too much sun, make sure it doesn't get too much water. You put a little of the old dirt in with the new dirt. You really are tender and gentle with this plant. Yet with yourself, you're like so harsh and so expecting. And so with transitions, my biggest advice, my biggest tip to you is to look at it as that downtime is like setting yourself up for success. Okay. I just moved and I moved 2 weeks ago and I'm starting to get my routine down a little bit, but it's not 100% because you know why? I don't have that that nice, like feeling of like, I'm in it. Like, this is good. I'm still like, like this jerky feeling. And, through all the moves and all of the changes I've ever had in my life, I know there is this time where you have this gap period, essentially, where you got to give yourself some time to figure it all out. And through my divorce, I did that. I mean, honestly, the world and God blessed me with COVID. Like 2020, I know a lot of people had a really difficult 2020. For me, 2020 was actually everything I needed because it was the perfect pause after my world came crashing down. So my world came crashing down after my divorce. It was the lowest point of my life to date, besides maybe one other event, but it was the lowest point of my life. And I was very lost. I was like in this fog constantly. And I needed that time. And in 2020 happened like perfectly for me because it was an opportunity to rest and recover and fill my cup back up and figure out what it is I wanted and what I needed. Without 2020, I don't know if I could have healed as quickly as I did. I was surrounded by my best friends and was filled with love and got to spend a summer at the beach. And I just had this recovery period. And if it didn't happen, I do believe that I probably would have rushed things. I would have pushed harder. I would have worked myself to death. And because of COVID, I was able to have this this downtime. And that downtime allowed for me to really dive into my spirituality more, allowed for me to figure out what I wanted, what my next steps were, like how I was going to tackle them. And that led to me finding Colorado. But I don't know if I would have moved to Colorado without 2020 because it would have been easier to just jump right into a new life with my family or like the people who I kind of knew in the area at that time, besides my best friend, Katie. And that downtime was so crucial. And thankfully I was blessed with that and almost like forced to have it, but we don't always get that, right? We don't always get this like time, and life is still going on and you still have things to do and a business to run and people who need you. And, all of the pieces that go into being an entrepreneur, marketing, taking care of yourself, follow-ups, like all of these pieces, right? So it's not like you can be like, well, I'm going to take a month off because I just went through a transition and I need to have this downtime. But what you can do is control the controllables that you that you have and give yourself downtime where you can have it. For example, having not like hard stop times with your schedule, taking off Saturday and Sunday, like really using your schedule to set yourself up for that downtime and that rest period, saying no to social engagements. I know for me as a projector, I need alone time in large quantities for me to feel like myself again. And so whatever, I mean, that's a human design thing, but just as a person, like we need time to like decompress and fill our cup back up and realize like, what is it I want? What's my next move? How do I want to tackle this? And really you have to be the one that says, I need this so that I can do this. Okay. We can't be the woman, the entrepreneur that we want to be if we are not honoring ourselves. You do not get an award for being the most strung out. And I'm the first to tell you, I really thought that I was like your go-to, like martyr is kind of the word like I want to use here. I don't know if that's the word, like the best word, but it was almost like a badge of honor of like, I work 3 jobs. I work out 4 days a week and I don't have to rest. And, you know, I can handle all the stress. I am this warrior, this person who can do all the things. It was like an ego thing. And you may be doing that. And maybe you're not ready to dive into all of that yet. And that's okay. That is okay. It's heavy and it's not very fun to go through to decondition all of that. But you can start small and being like, you know what? Maybe Emily's right. Maybe I need a little downtime. Maybe I need a little time to like be off my phone. Maybe I need to like take a couple of days off. This was a big transition. We like to make things out to like they're super small and like not a big deal. But most transitions are a big deal and they weigh on your energy in heavy loads. I felt the energy. Now, divorce is a very extreme transition, but just something small like changing my team up from going from a 5 to 6 person team to me and my virtual assistant. That's a big transition. I could have easily been like, yeah, super easy, super small, blah, 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 blah. When really it was really big. And I needed time to like collect myself and feel what I needed to feel and figure out what I needed. Transitions happen all the time. And the only thing you can control, besides maybe the decision you made about the transition, is your reaction. And throwing yourself into more work, throwing yourself into more is not always the answer. Sometimes doing less, taking time away, saying no to things is going to be the best for you. And this was something that I didn't realize I did naturally when I like reflect back and realize, oh, that's what I was doing. Like where I would hole up in my room and just lay there. I'm not asleep, just laying there because I was so overwhelmed. But I was like, no, I'm the type of person that can handle all the things. So really use your transitions as an opportunity and not something that should just be powered through or blown by. Your best self, the woman you're destined to be, she sees that journey. She sees those transitions, think as the moments, like the big moments. Okay. I have this painting that I made after my divorce, and it's the sun going into night. So sunset, sun going into night, a sunset. Okay. So you know what a sunset looks like. Well, I made that painting, and in the middle is the beautiful blurriness of the sunset or sunrise, whichever you prefer. I am more of a sunrise girl, but this is definitely a sunset. Anyways, that blurriness, that middle, that is life. That is the beauty there. Those transitions, that's where the magic is happening. So when you're in a transition, really think about, this is the magic happening. This is where I'm making big choices. This is where I'm changing and growing. And I need to honor this and soak all of these beautiful colors in of the sunset so that I can wake up tomorrow even better. So if you struggle with transitions and you're like, I think I need to ask you a few more questions, just message me on Instagram at EmiFit. There are links in the show notes to subscribe to our Heart to Heart newsletter that comes out every week, as well as the link if you are interested to talk more about one-on-one coaching. But my biggest takeaway for you ladies is honor your transitions, give yourself rest and recovery, and don't make things small. If they feel heavy for a reason, and trust that. You are meant for so much more, and there are going to be so many more transitions in your life. And so walking through these, honoring these is going to be so crucial when the really, really, really big ones come. Okay. You are destined for more. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. It's so amazing to have anybody listen, just in general, that you would spend your time listening to this podcast. I appreciate it so much. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon.